Lately, I've been thinking about my own arrogance with time. You know, me always thinking, I always have time with them tomorrow, later today, next day, next week. It might seem random, but what inspired this thought is that I'm just been realizing and processing that this week could actually be my last week with Cleo. Cleo is one of my friends, the stray cats, and she's a bit more special. They're special in their own ways, but she's different in the sense that our friendship formed about last year, even though I've been trying to get on her good graces for more than a year now. She used to have a territory, and then this black cat came along, was abandoned by her territory, and then that black cat has been attacking her, and they always get into fights. So she lost not only her primary territory, but also the primary source of her sustenance. And then I kept trying to befriend her after that. Like, I would see her on top of cars, on top of an electric box, and I would try to leave her food, but she wouldn't. Until one day, me and Champ were doing our midnight walks. We've been doing it for years. But one day, she started walking with us. And then it happened again the next day. And then the next day. And then the next day. And it just became our daily routine. And suddenly, we're friends. She would trust us. She would wait for us every morning to go on even short walks with us. And not only that, I only used to see her once a day. Now I've been seeing her twice a day. I don't know, she just knows where I am, especially when I bring Champ with me. Like, Champ is my secret weapon. When I'm with Champ, she always comes out. They're like super friends. So now, Cleo has always been set to be adopted by our neighbor. But I'm taking care of her on her behalf because she doesn't know where Cleo goes. And I know where she is because she always shows up for me and Champ. Now, that neighbor is about to buy a house. And she has asked me for help to get Cleo so that she could bring her in the house. And, you know, they would start acquainting her with indoor life before they actually transition to a much bigger place. She said that to me 2 weeks ago. I wasn't able to help her last week because of extenuating circumstances. But one of the things that Cleo has taught me is that reciprocation in friendship is in friendship is not something you expect. It's inevitable. Because before, I used to walk all the way to her spot to meet with her. And then there were days when she would go outside of my house so that I could feed her. And then a few weeks later, she would want me to go to her spot. And then a few weeks later, she would then go to my spot. Or she would look for me if I didn't arrive on time. But it's just that act of reciprocation alone where she has this innate understanding that I should go to her spot sometimes and then she would go to mine sometimes. Like, you know, we didn't have a language. We just had time, a few minutes a day, and then that exchange. Now, sometimes she's even the type of cat where sometimes she's even the type of cat that wouldn't eat your food unless she's earned it. So she earns it by going on walks with me and Champ. So we would walk around the neighborhood, and once she was done with the walking, we go back to her spot and she eats, no question. If we just gave her her food and she didn't earn it, she wouldn't eat it at all. So like, she likes having jobs. So now, in a few days, we are going to capture her so that she could get into a house. And in my head, I'm a little bit hesitant because I'm gonna miss her. But then in my head, I'm a little bit hesitant because I am gonna miss her. I'm gonna miss our routines. And I feel like I've taken her for granted a little bit because whenever I fed her, I just dropped the food and then I left. And that's not because I didn't want to spend time with her. I do. But it's just that when she finishes, she would follow me back at home where there are other cats. And I'm afraid that if I go inside the house and left her outside, she would be in a fight with other cats, or she would get run over by cars. No, like, it's just a lot of stress for me and a lot of worry. So I spent time with her by going on walks. She's like, she loves assisting me, meeting my other friends, and then we go and then she eats. Now that weekend is nearing and she's probably about to be home, I was discussing with myself that, you know what, I'm gonna miss Cleo so much, but my desire for her well-being has to be stronger than my feelings. You know, I might miss her, but I would rather miss her and know that she's in good hands than spend a lot of time with her, meeting her twice a day, going on walks with her. Majority of the time, I don't know where she is, where she goes, if she's okay, if she's too hot or too cold, or, you know, like, what if she gets harmed by irresponsible dog owners? I was so arrogant to think I have a few more months with her because that's what my neighbor told me, that she's gonna move on this month, and that's like a long way to go. But I guess she's preparing now, which is fine. It's understandable, but it's just making me think that we're also just like that with our friendships. Like, there are people in our lives that is always there for us, and then we often don't respond to them or return their messages or their phone calls because we think, oh, I'll just get back to them tomorrow. I won't chat with them because they're always going to be there. And then suddenly one day, poof, when you actually need them, they're nowhere to be found because maybe at some point they realize, oh, this person is taking me for granted. They don't value me. And even though that's not what you were trying to convey, that's how they received it, because your actions have been interpreted as reckless and them being devalued, their time being devalued, that the things that they do for you are not being recognized as a valuable thing in your life. Now, I've never done this to anybody, but this has always been done to me, and I'm speaking from the perspective of the one always being there for somebody and them not responding to me. And I've always never understood, like, why are people like this? We need to be careful about the things that we don't understand and the things that we judge, because life can always do a complete 180, and then suddenly you're in the position of what you used to judge or not, what you used to not understand before. Well, my mindset was like that back then. Like, I always felt like, why don't they value me, but then I grew out of it and I just moved on. But still, I think life thought that we need to put you in that position so you understand why. Because you need to hold both perspectives in order for you to have a wider understanding of many things. So now, I'm here sitting down, thinking, and a little bit regretting that I haven't spent much time with her. But then at the same time, it's kind of difficult because I did my best though. I did spend the most time that I had with her with what I could have, especially on the state of still trying to catch up on sleep, taking care of so many cats in our community, and having to divide each time with them, and then having to go home, being present not only with my pets but also with the person that I'm with myself, chores, my endeavors, my goals, and my well-being. So I did the best that I could with what I had. And maybe that's what other people are doing too, especially with them when they're in survival mode. And when you're in survival mode, you have less capacity for others, and just have a capacity for what could make you feel better, what could help you survive through the day. You know, you just don't have that much capacity for anybody else other than what feeds your wounds, what feeds your ego, what feeds your survival day to day. And that could translate to the other person as neglect. Neither of you are bad people in that sense. Just you all dealt with your situations the best way you could. For the person who's in survival mode, they needed to do what they had to do in order to get through the day. And sometimes the only capacity they have is for themselves and the people that they think they need, or whoever, whatever gives them oxygen. And for the person who felt neglected and decided to bounce, they're not a bad person either, because they're also doing what was best for them. It's just they were dealt with from completely different states of health. You know, the other one was more oriented towards methods that feed unhealthy patterns and habits, while the other was probably healing and trying to be more of an advocate for themselves and their own well-being. So are they wrong? Maybe for not communicating, but neither are bad people. That's just what I think. That's just what I understand now. So in relation to my video the other day, that, you know, having the intellectual understanding really kills the anger part, because if you understood why people do things, then anger has no place to live. And I guess that also applies to me. That I needed that so that I could apply the same compassion to myself, the same empathy to myself, as these empathies and compassion that I willingly gave to other people, now being applied to myself. And I feel like I am in such a more grounded and balanced position to speak on such things. And you know, I regret nothing. So that is the end of my realization for today. I'll see you again tomorrow.